Oh, welcome back, everyone. Sorry, call me
Hello.
readjusting my beanie. Hey, Casual, what up, man? I know you.
Hey,
You're
I
the
can
guy
see
from
you.
the MCOM streams, right?
Is this an Yeah,
Yeah,
yes. No,
I
I
think
am,
so.
and I
Yeah.
think I've seen you before. Wait, you're from? Oh shit, you're from the MCOM streams as well.
Wait, what? It's like
Oh
we've
my
been working
god.
together for the past 5 weeks. That's crazy.
Wait, that's absolutely blown my mind. What's going to blow my mind as well is when I try and make a prediction, and even if I get it right, because as I mentioned, these teams are so 50-50. Like, I can't figure it out. I spent all of that break looking at my spreadsheets. I'm looking at my OP.GGs. I'm looking at their previous games. Like, they match each other in every way. And what's really interesting is they don't just match each other in terms of their performance and their results, because obviously we're in a tiebreaker, right? So they are matched in terms of points, but they're champion pools as well. So both supports can opt for either engage or playing back with an enchanter. Both are more privy to an enchanter, depends on how draft goes. Both mid laners are control mages, no sort of assassins, no AD crazy picks or anything like that. The probably closest thing to adaptation we're going to be privy to see is in the top lane. And I really like that it's in the top lane because these are the two carries and the two most consistent players for both of these teams. Puppey versus Dragon. So it's really, really going to have to be eyes and glasses onto those two in draft, because guaranteeing a really decent matchup for either Slemt or Puppey may spell so much control for either side in terms of heralds, in terms of snowballing. So that's where I think both teams should prioritize, and that's going to be the most interesting focal point as we head into draft.
And I think something really important to point out is Juko as well, who just asked for a shout out in the chat. So
Oh,
I'm a big
hello.
fan as well.
Hello,
Yeah,
Juko.
thank you.
Hey,
Hello,
Cal.
mate. Hello. And now we're seeing our
Yes,
champs rejoin as well. I saw a lot of
we're in.
controversy as well about the Ezreal build. So
Yes, I saw that too. Yeah, some people not happy with the 80 carry build paths, I don't think, Quick.
yeah, I don't know. I don't play Ezreal. I don't think that's a normal build path, but people were talking about the Draven build path as well. And despite him not having a mythic, he had the Bloodthirst drop, he had the Infinity Edge, the Collector. Certainly something that wasn't completely out of left field.
Yeah,
But
it's just interesting his priority there, Quicksand. I think what our chat may be pointing to is the fact that you're building Collector in a game that's already losing halfway through the game as well. So Collector is
yeah,
something you want
true.
to get early because you're collecting, right? You don't collect at the end of a night because you can collect less. That's some of that $250 coaching analysis you'll get from me. You're collecting less if you buy it later, right? The other thing was that he wasn't able to manage his gold very well. Often were they fighting or trying to play around this Draven, if at all, when he had like 2-3k off getting bounties, so not resetting properly. Not a problem we should see in this game, I don't think. Not particularly zoning in on Stewie and Pretentious as those, crazy 80 carries and what an upgrade in terms of Worgen. Not so much the case. I think Worgen could match them, but in terms of both of these teams, like they've easily been able to show, and Revolt has, especially in our first game, that their macro ability and able to think about the game and how they want to move around the map, which is so important when it comes to resets, is really, really out there. And BALHAE are in the position that they in playing in the second game because they're clearly good at being together as a team. So both teams hopefully won't have sort of issues like that in being able to bring each other together and actually play as five. Maybe less ARAM in mid. Let's keep that for Saturday. I think that was a bit weird when we saw that so early. So if we can avoid that, if anyone in both of the teams is watching, that would be fun. Keep it slightly less normal, although chaos is something that we do enjoy, hey. But both teams very close to draft, so we'll be very keen to get in and see how they go. Where do you think, actually, I want to ask you, for Revolt, right? They're coming off the win.
Yep.
A lot of their players did really, really well. There were carries sort of all across the board. So when it comes to them drafting, who do you think they're going to look to the most when it comes to guaranteeing a decent matchup? Because they are on red side this game.
Okay, you know what? That is a really good question because I think anyone with the brain would probably say that Slemp Dragon certainly made a massive impact on the game. Though it didn't do the most damage, that was actually Juko. Slemp Dragon had a massive impact by pushing through the top lane, by helping take objectives, and those barrels really set up a lot of other options to close the game out. But if Gangplank isn't banned out this game, I'll laugh. I'm going to walk away from the computer if they don't ban Gangplank. I will not cast this game if they don't ban him out because you can see the proficiency coming through, especially in a game like that when you get so far ahead. And on Gangplank, you don't win. So I think looking towards mid lane would be the most clever thing here, and that's what we're starting to see with the bans. Seeing Juko do so well, especially on the Anivia, I don't think we'll see an Anivia come through again, but mid lane is definitely where I think the magic happens.
Yeah, no, I like what they're looking for. So Zodogu's been a known Lissandra player in Iron to Plat for as long as he's been playing in these tournaments. And Jinx really nice to take away from Stewie because Jadonius is kind of those... You know, I always talk about inflamed Lulu players. I really like anti-Lulu. It's almost a bit weird. I'm so obsessed with Lulu. Hate Lulu. Anyway, we're not going to get into it because I'll be ranting for 3 hours. My point is you can kind of ban out Lulu without having to ban Lulu. And you take away something that is so well worked with the champion like the Jinx. So I like that they've taken, you know, a champion away from effectively 2 players with that ban and then matching up to Puppey and sort of focusing on that with the Jax. GP the answer as well. So to and fro right now, if they ban a support, they've basically targeted each lane equally. However, I think maybe another mid ban is decent. Try and take something again away from Dragon because Lissandra is already gone and we know that Daiku is such a strong pick. Instead, they'll go the Sejuani. Pretty decent. I feel like Bristle Rider with his name tells me that he may play Sejuani. I think Bristle has got something to do.
I think he is. I think he's a Sejuani mate from memory.
Yeah. That name is the thing that sort of tells me. But instead, they get a really nice first pick in the Xayah. I think that's an awesome start to the draft for BALHAE, and there's plenty that they can sort of draft with that. It's certainly for Jadonius.
Yeah, I think so. And look, there's a Gangplank ban. So good news, guys. I will actually be casting this game. Ezreal or Vayne looking to be the second pick as well. After Jinx is being taken out, we still have champions like Aphelios, probably part of the Holy Trinity, that's still the strongest right now. Ezreal, though, I think is the second most picked ADC around this Platinum Elo. So not surprised to see Ezreal still being picked in now. Matched up with the Xayah, I think supports are really going to crack this lane down.
Yeah, I think so for sure. My only worry with picking the Ezreal here into not a better team, but into a team that is definitely stronger than Jade Dragons is because they've matched something like the Xayah early, means that we're going to be seeing a weak side bot into what is such a strong 1v9 pick in this Xayah. Rakan open as well if Jadonius does want to go for it. He has played Rakan before, certainly not his best champ by any means. He may pick it up as we see it hovered here with a couple seconds to go.
Oh, no way.
For now, they could still do it. That Maokai most likely in the jungle can be flexed up to the top lane, but with the things that Puppey's been saying in the pre-game, with the things that he's talked about his own performance, I doubt that they'll weak side him onto a tank. So we can expect that Maokai goes into the jungle and the bot lane complete for BALHAE. Looking really meta, looking really simple so far. Pretty easy to how they want to play out these fights so far. And the Udyr and the Ezreal, already 2 things that don't match each other blow for blow and how they want to contribute. So this third pick is actually going to be really important for REVOLT to bring their draft together heading into this second phase.
Let's go. All
right.
Bard lock in. Okay. Look, I didn't see Bard around that much, but I'm excited to see some Bard gameplay coming down today. But the problem is because I don't see Bard that much, I actually don't know how the Ezreal Bard matchup goes, or even how Bard does his little magic things where he runs around the map and doesn't play the game.
Yeah, so I can tell you how it works. The reason why you pick Bard with Ezreal is because Ezreal can, for the most part, lane on his own. We didn't see REVOLT's AD carry do an amazing job of buffering with his arcane shift and making sure he could avoid those engages, getting hooked multiple times in lane. Probably the scariest way of playing for this strategy. However, the reason is Bard wants an AD carry on his side that can be weak-sided because it lets him move around the map and impact top, mid, jungle, invade with his Udyr. So already putting pressure on this Maokai pick is a really decent choice coming out of REVOLT. However, it's all up to execution. You see in solo queue a lot. When people get auto-filled, they'll kind of default to Ezreal, right? But then the support may just first time the Bard because they think that it's good and not know how to play it. So it really is on REVOLT support to capitalize on his pick and do what it's actually been drafted to do. However, all you've done is sacrifice what could have been a decent 1-2 answer to the Xayah Rakan into something that's just going to be weak-sided and have to deal with a very fed Xayah in terms of resources, plates, CS, things like that to try and fight later on. And we know what that champion can do. But moving on to the ban phase as we round off that pick sort of selection, the Zed and the Irelia taken away for Dragon, so maybe I got something wrong targeting 2 proficient AD heavy mid laners. And then the Anivia, they're going to respect ban it after the last game. I think that's fair. Zayuku looked really, really clean on it. And then Malphite away for Slampdragon as well, knowing that the GP's taken away probably where he was going to go anyway. So I'm a bit worried about what their star top laner for REVOLT's actually going to pick now.
Yeah, with Ari being blinded as well, there may be a good chance here to try to slip something crazy. And Zilean, if locked in, probably going to be walking into the mid lane. Something I want to bring up as well is how strong Rakan is right now. Rakan is so good, bro. He's
I agree.
So good. Whenever I'm solo queuing and I see Rakan get locked in, I just know I'm going to win the game. And in case you don't believe me, in MSI, Rakan is the third highest presence champion with 82% presence right now. Unbelievable. He's so good. Whether or not he's getting banned out or he's getting picked, just his ability to engage, keep his team safe, and open up the map is so good. And the way he can blend this in with his team as well, a really good knock-up to get Xayah Feathers coming through, to get Maokai Root coming down, Zillion Bombs, and even Fiora Grand Challenge or hitting Vitals. Rakan fits into this team so well. As Ornn, who actually is, I think, has a 53% win rate right now, off the top of my head, one of the highest picked top laners in Plat, is going to be a bit of a threat to look out for.
Yeah, so probably the only thing that justifies picking Ornn into Fiora, in my opinion, as an Ornn one trick is the fact that Ornn is so strong. However, I think for Red Side, for Revolt, who have actually opted for the Ornn, I worry that just that individual matchup is going to blow this game wide open, right? So what I worry about picking something that doesn't have priority kind of from level 1 into Fiora, especially Puppey picking this Fiora as well, means that they'll be able to defend this Udyr Bard combo that they're clearly looking for. Sticking Ezreal by himself in the bot lane and Idvayne jungle. Now, there's nothing that Maokai can really do to actually contest that. Right? He'll just need to give those camps if no one comes down. The fact that they've got a weak-sided top laner means that now top side is a particularly safe area for Maokai. So if he starts in the bot side quadrant, means when he moves up, he'll have the insurance that the Fiora can move down and actually get his full clear off. I think if he's able to do that, he's very much in this game. The one thing I find really interesting is the Zillion Ari, right? I feel like, again, kind of like last game, bit of just a wave clear battle. We can see Zillion opting for the exhaust as well, just to keep himself extra safe. I would maybe like a cleanse here, Quicksand. Seems like there's a lot of CC on the side of Revolt. Maybe confident he won't be caught out. There is an option for 2v2 in the mid lane just due to that Ari charm. However, speedy old Zillion may be incredibly hard to catch, especially as this game goes on. And if this Fiora is able to just do whatever the hell she wants, if they play for the split, I don't see how Revolt can actually answer what BALHAE have opted for.
Okay, Casual, you know what time it is. I know I let you cook for about 5 or so minutes, but now it's time to finally serve. So, please, do us the honor of blessing us with the all-powerful, omnipotent, omniscient, that's the word, omniscient predictions. Casual, go. Bless us with your knowledge. Your, what's that word for, like, scripture? Please, Casual. Bless us with your scripture.
I'm gonna say BALHAE. I think BALHAE have taken it.
Oh my god. Okay.
Better individual matchups. I'm looking at a better 5v5 late game as well. I think BALHAE have absolutely got this game in the bag. However, it's not going to be easy because, like we said, Revolt came off a really strong win. But they've drafted something completely different. So, a lot of adaptation to happen. I don't think they can do it in this series. And I think BALHAE are going to be our third team to join the playoffs. Quicksand, what do you think?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I was thinking about it for a little bit. I don't have the same utensils or the same ingredients you cook with, Casual. But I got to say, I'm a pretty mean chef myself. I'm going to say BALHAE because Casual said BALHAE.
Get out of my kitchen. Get out of here.
No, I also really like the Rakan pick. I think the Rakan pick's awesome. The draft feels a little bit unorthodox from BALHAE. I think when you look at it, it doesn't feel like the meta drafts. Unlike what we see from the other side, you know, you got Ornn, Udyr, Ari. It's like what you see in most games. But I just, I'm leaning towards BALHAE. I can't help it.
BALHAE it is. All right, cool. BALHAE it is.
Do your predictions. Casual, what do they need to do?
So we did our predictions. So that means, chat, you guys need to do yours. So click up that fancy little purple button right up the top. We've got to go to a break. Get those predictions done. When we come back, we will be jumping onto the Rift, Quick and I, to round off this night with a fantastic end to this tiebreaker series. Who will join our final three? Will it be BALHAE? Or will it be Revolt? There is only one way to find out. Predict, get a drink, come back, and we'll be on to the Rift. We will see you guys then.
One and all, welcome back. Hopefully, after your last death-defying experiment, you will be back for another one, and it was quite the experience. I hope your nails are still on your hands after biting them off, and your chair is still intact after you almost falling off the front of the edge. Now, don't forget, we're still back for a second tiebreaker tonight. This one's still a best of one. BALHAE playing against Revolt Wyverns in a do-or-die tiebreaker to see who gets to move on to the final bracket. Casual, you were saying that this little bard skin is super cute, didn't you?
Oh, he's the cute. It has to be the most goated skin in the entire game. I mean, we may not be able to talk about it for long in case this invade does go pear-shaped. Looks like all they'll get is a decent ward. However, Puppy's moving in. I just think it's great. We'll see it in game. The animations, everything, it's gorgeous. Just misses on the vital proc. If she face checks, Fiora doesn't have Q, but actually spots Lightless, so may get out in time. And all it'll be is a bit of a mana flow stack for the Zillion. Decent for BALHAE. It's not a crazy lead, but, you know, certainly helps.
But then again, being able to walk in and get that ward down, it's a long-term investment, let's just say that. Out West may be able to just do some nice little counter jungling, using that, preventing some ganks and giving some leads. And now that we're walking into this game, it's about to kick off, especially with all these lanes. Some of them, like the Fiora lane, the bot lane, some of them are going to be a lot more dangerous than others. Casual, where on earth should we point our eyes?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's really hard to say where we should be looking in this game. Probably the closest thing that we'll find to action may be out west, to be honest. We saw him be incredibly aggressive in the first game, and now is in a matchup that is absolutely favored for the UD, especially in the isolated sort of vacuum 1v1 against Bristle Rider, just because he is on a tank. UD is easily able to stack up the Conqueror, get the damage off, you know, with the Glacial AoE, and can kind of just find whatever he wants when he does enter the jungle. The only thing that stops that, as we see a little cheeky attempt from Rakan, is the fact that Fiora may be able to just gain instant priority in this lane, which we're already seeing. I mean, Fiora should be losing this early just because of, you know, not having Sunder or things like that. It only gets worse for Ornn, is my point. And if Snapdragon's already struggling in this lane so far, it's going to be tricky for anyone to try and punish this Maokai from just free scaling into the game. And scaling is the name of the game, as we see mid-lane sort
Look
of
at that, man.
going blow for blow. That's going to be weird, right? Because both the CC can land so easily at the same time. So then what do? You can't just stand and just stare at each other awkwardly. Which is kind of good.
Look at the little bard, the bard thing. It's a cup of tea. Oh my god!
Little cup of cocoa. Wait for his to base. Hopefully our broadcaster can show the bard base and zoom in when he like recalls. That is like the juiciest thing ever. It's gorgeous. It actually warms my soul. I had a hard day at work today, so I wouldn't mind, broadcaster, please, if you could do that. Hopefully the game's not too hyped, so we can actually do silly things like that. Anyway, bot lane's something we haven't really touched on in terms of how it's looking. I mean, Stewie and Jadonius have been a pretty decent bot lane together, having lots of ability to draft different things, and now finally getting something that is, as I would call it, bread and butter, the Xayah and Rakan. Everything's buffed up for each other. Everything works. Every ability amplified. I mean, it just makes sense, right? It's Vegemite on toast. And so they're going to get instant lane priority in this game, you know, pushing in towards this tier 1, trying to gain plates. We already see Pretentious struggle when the pressure was put on him. And yeah, Xayah is sort of a different beast when it comes to something like a Draven. However, maintains just a slight CS lead when being pushed in. It's pretty decent. Dragon could be overstepped.
Up a bit too far now, the Ignite, the charm comes down. Juco may be able to get first blood here, and it's going to fall in the hands of Out West. You were not wrong where you said we'd find the action, Casual.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just able to find that 2v2, and it means that Dragon's going to fall. Not only, there's so many things wrong with it, actually. The fact that we're burning both sums and still dying. Oh, hold on, flash burn, actually. So incredibly terrified of this Zyrakan, as they should be. But yeah, back to mid lane. He's burned both sums, doesn't have a TP as well. So he's going to be incredibly down just in this isolated 1v1 with Daiuku on this Ahri. The only unfortunate thing for Revolt is that the Ahri invested that Ignite herself, wasn't able to catch on to the kill, but still really decent.
And Out West, once again, looks towards the top lane. Puppy has incredible damage and still looking towards Out West despite being on the edge of death. Flashes away, almost kills the enemy jungler and lives.
Yeah, so Puppy playing with fire there. You can see how sort of, not so much his ego, but his confidence in this lane to try and take that 2v2 and kite himself out. Just due to the natural healing from Grasp and finding a pretty decent RNG on the Vital proc means he does get out with his life. But Bristle Rider stayed. Snapdragon surely dead. Does have flash though.
Looking to go again. Snapdragon up way too far. And all they can do now is try to guarantee Puppy that kill. And it looks like it isn't going to go anywhere but her.
Yeah, good thing that it doesn't freeze at least. But yeah, Ornn just not reading the play there. Knowing that his jungle actually based means he doesn't have tempo. Means that if you want a weak side properly as a tank, you just need to recall there, regardless if the wave gets in or not. Does take the gamble, falls for it. Gambit doesn't go his way. And so Puppy crucially gets a kill as well. Ever so close to that Sunderer where the game just blows apart right at that point. But Jadoni's again finding a decent engage. I mean, there's not much that this lane can do. And Frankly, I think Lightless has stayed in this lane far too long. I want to see Bard move around Quicksand. I want to see him go with his jungler. Udi's already got that first kill as well. The 2v2 is not something you want to be focusing on too hard, but, you know, decent HP trade, but you're not getting enough done. I think you want to be trying to stack in those early objectives. You want to go for the roams, go for the invades. I mean, Bristle Rider wants to play for his lanes. That's fine, but I don't think Out West has that luxury. He almost needs to be the carry himself this game on this tankier bruiser pick, because if he's not, I don't see anyone outside of maybe the Ahri being able to contest this Fiora in the side lane. And that side lane is going to be incredibly scary as this game goes on, particularly because of what Slempdragon opted for in draft in the Ornn.
That's exactly right. And now with the Earth Dragon up, and a great chance to be taken out here by Out West, who's trying to get bot control, it may be a good opportunity for Ornn to move around the map, especially starting now, as Ahri shoved off the wave. Udyr looking for priority, and Puppey now starting to look towards Slempdragon.
Yeah, I keep saying Poppy as well, by the way. We're both going to fall for it multiple times this game. Really, really nice parry on getting the W proc. The only way Ornn can survive, and this is why it's so hard, right? I would never pick Ornn into Fiora. It's terrifying. It's so scary. It's such a beautiful counter because almost everything Ornn does is CC. Even his trading pattern, which is just the W auto, you still can't because that's technically knocking someone back. So if you find the right timing, which Puppey did, you're able to stun, you're able to get a really, really decent HP trade. And now Slempdragon's under all sorts of pressure, meaning that Bristle Rider can move into the top side, which is what he's doing.
And look at that. The Mountain Dragon may have gone down, but Pretentious suffered for it. Being able to get a bit of trade off. And the Glacial Augment, especially coming out from the Rakan here, it's so effective. Being able to slow down that Ezreal by getting a hit on the Bard means that there's so much more of a chance of Xayah hitting her root or even getting a lockdown on him. A really great rune choice. I'm not sure if... actually, no. You know what? Rakan does bring Aftershock sometimes. So...
yeah.
Yes. It is a good rune decision choice here from JDonis, as well as Puppey bringing Grasp. You can see Fiora bring either Conqueror or Grasp, right, Casual, as a top laner?
Yeah, no, big time. You can go anything really. I think Conqueror works nicely into something like Ornn because you're going to very easily stack it. However, in the lane to sort of survive, you want to rely on poke, which is what you're going to do. Udyr caught up though. Puppey's
doesn't get unstoppable in time. That's really bad as Bristle Rider is going to knock him back. Out West may just go down here as Puppey can't get the stun down, and Out West, he is running for his life.
And this is what I'm talking about when they don't have any priority in the top side. Ornn wants to go for the play though.
Oh my god, Ornn's walked up, Duco's there, Out West, and Fiora up too far, W cooldown far too long, and Puppey goes down. It just Bristle Rider up too far, and a double to Duco.
Yeah, so BALHAE believing that they had priority in the mid lane means that they can get themselves a 3v3, but because they overstayed and overextended trying to take out West, means that Ghost was actually useful. I mean, hold on, Lightless is out of vision here, they don't know.
Oh, JDonis tries to dash up. The quickness isn't enough. And he's gone into the bush far too dangerously. An unexpected result from that lane as Lightless now wants to dash in front of Xayah, forcing out the Featherstorm. Oh my god, and the Tempted Fate doesn't find its mark. And Xayah, in fact, will.
I mean, that's awesome. All I want to do is talk about Revolt after that topside play, but we have to give credit to Stewie there. That was perfect. Like, that was actually gorgeous. What a play coming out of him, avoiding what could have been a really devastating result because Revolt won the topside. If they were to fall and not go even in that 2v2 fight that just happened, I mean, BALHAE are in a really precarious position. So, Stewie putting his team into his backpack to keep things slightly even, but back to Revolt. I mean, that topside play, Puppey and Bristle Rider just can't be there unless Dragon can make his way down on the Zillion. You know, having the ability of the chrono break and keeping someone alive if they do end up falling means that Puppey can be so aggressive, but because he's so far up, doesn't have the ability of that free Guardian Angel, just does fall, and as soon as Fiora falls, you've got no damage left. Ayuki gets free resets on the Ahri, and it's all good. Oh, there it is! There it is! Look, Quicksand, look at him!
I didn't see it. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to watch on the live stream. But the live stream's loading, it's lagging.
Oh, alright.
Oh,
well,
no.
I saw it on the live stream as well. I've got it on the second monitor. He gets out his little penguins and he like does a little thing with the penguins. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you so much, broadcaster. That's absolutely lightened my day. But yeah, there's not much else to analyze really quick other than BALHAE just kind of avoiding comms with their mid laner there, not understanding that it wasn't a 3v3, in fact a 3v2 fall, and it's all important right now because this top side's only going to get scarier in this 1v1, this Fiora versus Ornn matchup. Hold on, aggression!
Great charm, really, really good charm, and Stewie goes down.
Yeah, Dayuki's just everywhere on this Ari. He's coming up to the top side and making plays. He's running down to the bot side and is making sure that he can try and carry and look there. I mean, it's really, really nice coming out from Revolt's mid laner, being incredibly impactful on this Ari and giving Pretentious a lead that maybe he's not used to compared to the games that we've seen tonight. So it'll be interesting to see an AD carry actually carry this game.
Oh, and the dive's coming through now. Jdonius not exactly in a great position. Doesn't get the trade off Bombard, and he's going to use the quickness to try and get away. Dragon barely gets caught in the Nature's Grasp, because now he's trying to escape, staying on the tower.
Oh my God!
Way too much damage, and it's a trade in a situation where he should have died out west. Turning towards Jdonius now, who once the execute is smited and does go down.
Oh my God, Oh, there's too much. There's too much to analyze. I think topside really, the only thing that went wrong there is that Puppey just wasn't committed to the play from the dive. So again, it seems like, and it even goes back to the previous play, the BALHAE just are not on the same page when it comes to making these plays. It's decent that they want to actually trade something on the top side because the play was made by Revolt in bot. They've invested their mid laner, so they have the ability to try and catch out this Ornn. However, Puppey moves back once the dive starts, means that he can't actually contest anything down. Ornn's able to flash away using the slow from the call of the Forge God, and then Maokai's just left by himself, so of course he's going to fall to the turret dive. We're only 12 minutes in. These turrets absolutely slap, and Maokai is not tanky enough, not by any means. Decent stun coming out of mid though. Lucky that that melee was there, otherwise that could have looked pretty scary for the Ahri. But yeah, I mean, really nice. That's going to really help out Dragon as well, because he also gets double buffs to Quicksand, so is able to even just be that little bit more scary in this lane just before Fiora gets under and everything changed. So Revolt answering Balfire in every way, and this is a... Oh, hold on.
Oh,
another
Hugo
fight.
Turn down on Dragon here. He's used up his ult and he shouldn't go down now. Hugo holding onto the abilities in the Spirit Rush. Oh, the orb just isn't enough, and Hugo's going to go down to the hands of the tower instead as the Chemtech Drake falls as well.
Yeah, he tried to make the play that Sugenda did in the LEC, if anyone remembers, with the cannon walking between the two turrets. But you've got to jiggle a little bit more that, Cal, my friend, and so does actually fall. Nice try on the engage. Oh, hold on, bot lane fight.
Lightless up way too far. The charm goes down, won't go down again. Tempered Fate, he's going to get rooted the moment he gets out of it. The Feather's not in the right spot. Lightless walked in the right direction. And the Bard not going to go down in exchange for the enemy support. Now Stewie forced to run away. Out West doesn't have the stun again. And Stewie will go down second. And it's a 2-0 in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think Quicksand, in terms of our predictions, we got centered way too much on draft here. I think Revolt, despite maybe not winning necessarily in the draft, they're doing way better when it comes to making plays. Speaking of making plays though, top side.
That's right, the root finally going down. Dragon realizes he may just be dead. Wants to wander back to the enemy turret, but there's no way out. Puppey should be picking up another kill here. As Dragon, all he can do is run around and try to give the kill to Maokai. Puppey getting another pick, going 2-1. Divine Sundera in hand.
Yeah, I'm worried about Puppey, but not if this game keeps going the way it does for Revolt. They're so fed, and members are low. Deku might not know that Maokai's not gone. Spirit Rush.
Oh, Nature's Grasp comes out now. Israel way out. The Spirit Rush will give them distance as Bruiser Rider wants a root here. Perfect W coming out from Fiora. And Juko is going to get the trade. Puppey can't make it away.
Okay, really nice coming out from Puppey. I mean, yeah, he does fall. Not a bounty or anything for Ahri, so it's not too bad. Does find the 1-for-1. Realistically, it shouldn't have been a 1-for-1 in any case if it was played just that little bit cleaner. However, getting a kill on what would have been a pretty scuffed play is fine. Maybe you can trade cooldowns and no one falls at all, but BALHAE need everything they can get because this game is slipping out of their hands, so a kill's a kill. Speaking of kills, maybe one more.
Out West should be able to just shut down Bruiser Rider here. No support to come back, and Pretentious, even better, is going to be the one to pick up the kill.
Yeah, Pretentious, literally 4-1 on this Ezreal. I don't think we've talked enough about this guy who's done an incredible job at his lane, and I thought he was just going to be weak-sided. However, they just opt for what I guess is a superior 2v2. Ezreal Bard counters Zyra Khan, guys. We figured it out. We finally figured it out. He's just doing great. I mean, he's so early in this game, already so strong, and he really is the only person who'll be able to...
Oh no! Well, Ahri put everything she had into that for a Zyra flash.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to trade flashes. Better than it misses and then Zyra just gets the walkout for free. Definitely a more embarrassing scenario. So, no flash on the Zyra. Still has the Gale Force in hand and, of course, the ult as well. So, not you know, out of any fights by way of positioning. We saw that happen to Worgen when we were fighting mid lane, where with the lack of subs caused him to not be able to actually join these next fights. I think they have the luxury with Stewie, but just looking at the items alone, I mean, Demonic in hand for Udi just completely outscales his opposition in the Maokai, and of course this Ezreal's looking incredibly strong even without a Mythic too. Luden's completed as well. They're looking really decent for Revolt to take this 5v5, however, it's got to be clean.
Oh, and Poppy's running up to the top now. Once he gets Slemt Dragon, the knockup comes through, but Slemt has no damage to back it up. Clifford Fate, that is brilliant. The Ornhorn finally hitting. Out west going down as Fiora desperately trying to make room up the top. Out west now, all alone, and perhaps they've split up just a little bit too much. Down goes Revolt Wyvern's jungler, as Lightless may be next on the list. Juco, plenty of damage as Xayah is next on the menu. Pretentious down on Fiora, and it is a beautiful sweep. A 4-for-1 in the favor of Wyvern.
I'm going to challenge you, Quicksand. I don't think that was beautiful at all. I think that was sloppy. I mean, beautiful in terms of the game state, but the fact that we're leaving Ezreal alone with a Bard with no cooldowns to contest Puppey, who's probably the most fed member on BALHAE, if that game was even, I think BALHAE takes every kill there and gets out with the game in hand. Like, that was only because the gold lead exists as that fight worked. If we get to a later stage of this game, Revolt need to be a lot clearer about how they want to take these fights, because it started off with Slempdram getting caught. Overstepping and trying to take on this Fiora means that he does fall. Fiora gets a regen passive, so she's re-entering the fight with a lot of HP. And then Pretentious and Lightless were just on the opposite end of what Daiuku and his top laner wanted to do. So the fact that Ornn lives while soaking all of that pressure was fantastic. But the fact that their Ahri, who is a really big part of, and a big piece, if you will, of the puzzle in terms of how Revolt are able to make plays, they need to synergize and come closer together. Because Fiora has the ability to run down this Ezreal. We almost saw it there with maybe one more sort of cooldown coming out. I really like the Navori pickup. Actually, to mention one more thing coming out of this Ezreal, do you see exhaust burn from the Zillion? I mean, Dooku's just been so aggressive, isn't he? But yeah, this Navori, I really like Quicksand. Reason being, more cooldowns, more mobility is just perfect when you're kiting out someone like Puppey on this Fiora pick. And that was the reason why that fight looked scary. He couldn't get away from her.
That's right. Pretentious is so strong, and I mean, all of Revolt Wyvern's is. Juco, you can see on his aggressiveness that he's pushing up. He doesn't care about fighting the Zillion, and from a simple engage from behind a bush, is forced to burn his exhaust just to get away from Juco. So the game entirely swinging into Revolt's favor, where they're 5,000 gold ahead of the enemy team, and I am struggling to see a good avenue that BALHAE gets back into this game besides Fiora trying to whittle down the top towers.
That's right, and you've pointed it out beautifully, because it seems like team fights just aren't going to work. So you have to play for split. But there's every ability to go for dives and to actually pressure down. You've got the Bard portal to get in behind turrets. You've got the ultimate to stop them from attacking you in the first place. And an Udi to run everyone down along with the Spirit Rush. Like, they can't really play as safe as they want to. And speaking of playing safe, Slump Dragon doesn't understand the meaning. Or is it a bait?
Goes there to back it up. Puppey may just get shut down here if being played right. Has no mana left for the fight. The Ornhorn coming down. Juco wants to match Puppey. Puppey no mana, no dash. As Slump Dragon and Juco are going to be able to shut down the Fiora.
Yeah, so good answer from the Revolt mid laner, making sure that they know that Puppey's only play is to just contest, and to be aggressive, right? So he makes sure that he runs up the top lane off his reset, gets that kill, and now they can just push for free, which is what they see them doing now. They do have to wait for their mid laner though, so tier 2 mid won't fall yet. As soon as that does, it really does just crack the game wide open, I think, in terms of this tier 2 being gone. Much easier to land vision, much easier for Ahri to do things like that as well, because they're forced to just place their vision that little bit more back, because mid lane priority will just be in full control of the Revolt side. So side lane needs to be a lot cleaner coming out from Puppey, because he is his team's only way to get back into this. And it's going to be tricky. Similar case to last game, Quicksand. BALHAE need to find a way to sort of plug the holes in their ship right now, because otherwise they're shipwrecked. They're out of a chance in playoffs, and this game is just snowballing in the side of Revolt, and they're looking incredibly momentous.
And maybe this really is a case of having your fingers warm. BALHAE were seated slightly higher, I think due to their positioning on the ladder, but Revolt Wyverns had a chance to warm up in a serious game, get their intensity locked down, and maybe in the end they're a team of slightly higher caliber, especially from their gameplay. I mean, you and me mentioned earlier, Casual, that maybe our predictions really were based primarily off the draft. And even though I do like BALHAE's draft still a little bit better, Revolt Wyverns are just showing a higher caliber of skill.
Yeah, they are for sure, and they're understanding what they need to do and understanding what they do better in terms of outranging. We saw Cal in the mid lane do this on his RE pick, making sure that Zilean could never really trade back efficiently, gaining priority and then being able to collapse into their top side and guarantee numbers advantage. So understanding their individual matchups has probably been the key, even though they were bad matchups, and this is why One Tricks can get so high on the ladder, right? You can actually outplay in a bad matchup if you understand it better than an opponent. It's not just enough to just pick Fiora. It's not enough to just pick the Zilean into a poke comp. Like, you've got to make sure that you understand what that actually means. And Revolt coming into this game with a lot of understanding and a lot of pressure as we see Baron being started up from them. Why not? Hold on, Daiuku.
And all they want is this Ahri, the exhaust coming down. Nature's Grasp looking to lock Daiuku down, and they finally make it over. The Root, the Tempered Fate, is going to keep the Ahri alive, and she should just be able to dash away if all goes well. The quickness means she's charmed, and no way out. Ahri met with her own spell to lead to her demise. Baron now getting slammed.
Yeah, so Callum just greedy, trying to go for the solo kill when the Baron was already the call, right? So we could have just stayed on the objective, lived, reset, gone for that play afterwards. However, just a little bit of greed coming out from him, trying to look for Dragon once again, means that they were able to collapse. But it's just a concession kill, really, at the end of the day. Baron still being taken away by Revolt, will be existent on all 4 members. Puppey does get a tier 2 in the bot side as some sort of trade. But yeah, unnecessary green coming out from the RE doesn't mean a lot in terms of the game state, but you'd hate for plays like that to be consistent and actually find a way for BALHAE to come back into this game purely off picks.
Right now, we're looking at about a 4,000 gold lead, 3 dragons in the favor of Revolt, as the next one coming up in just under a minute. So going down in the favor of BALHAE or even Revolt means that this dragon probably will be swept away. And reaching Soul Point on the Cloud Drake, though not the most essential. Actually, does Cloud Drake proc on Udazar? It wouldn't, right?
I'm not too sure, but I do think you raise a decent point that Cloud Soul, in terms of this game versus last game, definitely a lot better than the previous. There'll be a bit of poke landing onto Bristle right here. Actually forces out the ultimate, so forces out the Nature's Grasp. It really, really good coming out from Revolt right there. That is a big engage tool now gone for BALHAE. See if they even want to contest this Dragon. I think they might just need to give Soul purely based off that. Puppey does have his TP available. Slam Drake can try and look to cancel. Maybe scared about overstepping, and instead they're going to go for Maokai.
Oh, Maokai, he's so low, and the charm comes through. Juco can't get the shutdown, and they have that Zilean revive, which now has been used up if the team fight comes through.
Okay, so Ahri ult down, but Zilean and Maokai without their ultimates as well. This is still a really difficult fight for BALHAE, even though Daiuku did use his crucial mobility spell. So Soul's going to be a tricky one. Puppey instead moving off into the mid lane now. I mean, maybe they'll get some sort of a trade of tier 1, but TP burnt means that Slam Dragon can now push his lane. Makes the siege that much easier.
And look, just going down from Dragon, look how confident Pretentious is. Puppey losing down on health as well, as Cloud Soul finally has come online. Bristle Rider goes up way too far, the chomp comes through, and the jungler should go down here. Puppey forcing to back in the enemy jungle, and it's been cancelled, I think, there, by perhaps the red buff, as Tower's now being sieged. Baron in hand, so they're going to shove the wave. Soul in hand, money in hand, and their wallets are looking lined. Slam Dragon, though, maybe he's gone up just a little bit too far.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. Off he goes. Kill on Zaya, really, really good for BALHAE, but God, they're just losing everything. It's getting to that point in the game where you're just bleeding, aren't you? Puppey may want to look for something, but it's really hard because there's just so much zoning. I mean, we haven't even mentioned that the Udyr, how much that synergizes with Ezreal, right? The permanent slow and ability to only walk in one direction, which is back, is so good for Pretentious on this Ezreal because it makes it that much easier to then land your skill shot. So everything just working for the side of Revolt. Yeah, we talked about draft. Maybe it's the not most optimal thing, but this is just a showcase of if you can play it better, you should just pick it, regardless of what it means for your comp. Pretentious 6-1-3 now on this Ezreal. So the fact that he's been able to be catered towards while being so strong, that much easier for Revolt. Hold on, exhaust used.
Again, exhaust keeps coming down on Juco, and Juco keeps refusing to die. Nature's Grasp sweeping across the map. The Unstoppable denying getting captured as Tempest Fate is going to lockbard out of the fight. Oh no, I've moved my director cam. I can't see what's going on. Bristle Rider now going to get locked down. Trying to go under the tower here as Out West perfectly engages. and down goes the jungler. Juco up a little bit too far. The Cloud Soul not enough to boost the movement speed, as Dragon's going to get knocked up. Is next up on the menu, and they are getting swept through right now. Revolt Wyverns, they may be going, but guess who's in the top lane? Oh, sorry, the bot lane, pushing into the top side of the map.
So it's a bit of a question of what they do. Seems like they're going to send Ari back to try and match this Fiora. If she does fall, BALHAE may have stolen the game here, but I don't think this is worth it just trade an inhibitor. The fact that Puppey's able to do this means what is a pretty awful play coming out from BALHAE, and we'll get into that for a second, may turn out to be just close to even. So really decent split push, but I think the only thing to mention there is Stewie, for absolutely no reason, face tanking the entire enemy team. I don't know why the Maokai, the Rakan, and the Zillion were all behind the Xayah. That doesn't make any sense to me. And it's just because of that he's able to be hit by the Call of the Forge God. Unfortunately, the fact that he slightly misses time, that Bladestorm, the Feather Call, is going to be caught by that CC, is going to get lit by everything else, does fall, and then you're just lacking DPS, aren't you? When Xayah's not there, there's no one to cut through the Ornn. There's no one to cut through the Ornn anyway, with the Gale Force being picked up too. So he's an incredibly tanky boy at this stage. I don't know, it's hard. I feel like they've drafted their comp Quicksand for Fiora to be involved in these fights, but now all he can do is really split. And yeah, the split is working. However, they're almost guaranteeing themselves, BALHAE, that if they do take a team fight like that, pardon me, it's always going to be a loss. However, if they do get engaged on and it does work out and they live, Puppey may be able to steal and do something crazy in their base.
With 2 minutes 30 on the Elder Dragon and 30 minutes left on the Baron, it all comes down to the fights that happen right now. Puppey up way too far. It's a 3v1 right now. She's forced to dash away. Juco, though, maybe in the hands of this Maokai, who manages to get the root down. It's a double root and perfectly played as Juco's been shut out of the fight. Puppey, though, may be the next victim, and it's a 1-for-1 across the map as the Baron about to spawn.
Yeah, Fiora fighting valiantly into 3 tanks, and that's why it only went so long, right? There was no one with actual damage to take down that Fiora, just due to their ability to lay a CC after the parry means that she does fall. But really decent pickup onto the Ari. I mean, time is along, right? We're 27 minutes into this game, so that's going to mean a lot in terms of what Revolt are able to do when it comes down to CG mid. Technically, it still is a 4v4. However, Daiku's a big part of this team right now, so maybe BALHAE can be aggressive.
And they can simply just go for the siege. Dragon looks for the stun, and you can see how hard it is for anyone to go for the engage. There we go, J-Donis wants to dash up, and they can't seem to do any damage.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, the fact that the front line is so tanky and Xayah's gone for the Gale Force means that it's only Fiora who can cut down this front line. But Puppey's pretty clear on his mindset of trying to split for this win. It just makes it really, really hard to now actually contest them on these big objectives, because that's where you do need to team fight. We see Puppey moving into the top side now, so maybe BALHAE have ideas about this Baron that is up and coming for Revolt. They're going to need to reset first though, so talk about a chess game right now. I feel like BALHAE are in the driver's seat in terms of making the aggressive play. They can look for vision, they can set out their lanes because the rest of Revolt are resetting, or they could just start Baron. They are on vision though.
Wow, that's a lot of confidence now. We see Udyr and Ornn both sprinting towards the Baron right now, and it's all down to BALHAE to break this one down as fast as they can. Ornn, sorry, out west now, jumping over the wall. The Ornn coming through, the smite comes down, and it's going to be in the hands of BALHAE. The Tempered Fate means that the rest of Revolt Wyverns have a chance to come down. They need to get out of this fight. Puppey gets the W down, and the rest of GG BALHAE are getting out of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard, right? Like, Stewie's basing in the top side because he doesn't actually want to go for the fight once he gets knocked out. It means that Puppey, once again, in the final fight of this game, has to 1v5. It's just not something that his champion does. Out west doing an incredible job on this Udyr. We pointed out earlier that Udyr is a fantastic pick into Maokai for this reason. If you're able to just free scale and not be invaded yourself, even get decent plays that he did and find kills, there's no one to stop you as we see them just walking, tanking all of the turrets. Revolt, even maybe with a draft that people might doubt, there'll be no doubters in chat after this one because they are the teams that head to playoffs, Quicksand.
J-Donis wants to dash up. The Baron minions may be on their side. J-Donis forced out of the fight. Out west wants to hit the Nexus and no one can take him down as a Resurrect may be coming through. But Udyr will be the one to end the game and send Revolt Wyverns 2-0 in this bracket through to the playoffs.
Yeah, 2-0. So 2-0 in the series. And I mean, you call it a certain type of series as well, don't you? Because you're versing two teams. You have different ways of having to prep, having to adjust. I mean, it's all over. Just incredibly impressive. I'm almost lost for words in a lot of way because we really did doubt them, didn't we? We really didn't think it was going to work this game. I was pretty certain on BALHAE. I had every confidence in Puppey, their top star. I had every confidence in their mid lane pick on the Zillion to boost up those members. But the fact that bot lane went so poorly for BALHAE, the fact that Pretentious was to get so strong on this Ezreal, the fact that Ari was able to move around the map wherever she wanted because of constant 1v1 priority. There were so many things that Revolt on paper may have not worked out for them, but just through pure outplay and just being the better players tonight, they were able to capitalize on those leads, increase them, and eventually blow up the Nexus. So they're going to be our third team into playoffs. And I mean, this bracket so far, this Group B, with Revolt now finally joining Weekend Warriors and Starcasters, three incredible teams, and I think they've very much wholly deserved their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an incredible game as well. To see Juco do that well by dashing across the map, being able to push lanes by himself and then draw so much pressure. Every single time he appeared in a fight, he got exhausted. And almost every single time he got out, finishing at an incredible scoreline of 7-4, despite being the person who was constantly targeted the entire game. And Pretentious, thanks to Juco, had all the pressure removed off him, and Pretentious kind of just got to free hit the entire game. We saw him use the true shot barrage again and again and again to keep pressure in fights. And then just from the outside, he'd go in, hit a W, then a Q, and then he'd just phase shift out and bang. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dayuka is such an incredible and interesting player for me, Quicksand, because I feel like Lissandra is his favorite pick, and Lissandra is often picked as a defensive and counter pick tool. However, he never plays it like that, and he doesn't play any of his champions like that. He's an incredible, aggressive playmaker. He's constantly diving side lanes, helping out his solo laners, going for plays, invading all of it, counter invading. Like, he is someone that you can rely to be on the map and to be proactive. Maybe sometimes to a fault in terms of getting caught. We saw it a few times where his team was doing an objective and he kind of just wanted to go for the 1v4 outplay. That's classic, you know. Not everything is all pros, right? That's his little con on his list. But so far, if you talk about a pros and cons list, it's mostly pros for Revolt. I mean, everyone doing their job tonight. I think Slapdragon did really well because two of his core champions were banned out. He was put on something that has a very different style in terms of resources from the GP in the Ornn, and he didn't weak side well, but he did do his job as a frontline. So I think everyone on Revolt in particular, I did a fantastic job. Should we decide on an MVP for tonight, Quicksand? Do you have anyone in mind from Revolt in particular if you had to pick one?
Oh, it's tough. It's either going to get Out West or Juco or Pretentious even. I think all three of them put up a brilliant game.
Yeah.
But just for that early game pressure, even though that game I'd say was a mid-diff, I think Out West deserves it. But maybe that's a outlandish opinion or coming from left field. But I think Out West very much deserves it, just from the ability to put all of his lanes ahead. He kept Ornn in the game. He put Ezreal onto the map that game, and we saw it last game and the game before that. Casual, what about you?
Yeah, I think so. It's 100% between mid-jungle for me for Revolt, between Dayuka and Out West. The fact that they worked so well together means that I feel like Out West was the one making those calls. I have no evidence for that, but it just seemed like he understood when it came to jungle tracking and what that means, making sure his laners were safe, like you said, and ending the game 7-1-13. Opposition, Bristle Rider was 0-7 at the end of that game. So that just shows you mathematically what the difference was in the jungle there. So I think it's a pretty easy MVP vote for me in terms of Revolt right now. They all played incredible, but Out West for sure really showed up in this series when they needed him most, and is happy to have, you know, laid out all of his teammates, including himself, onto this red carpet heading into playoffs. I mean, really, really well played to Revolt. Congratulations to, of course, Out West for your MVP as well, as decided.
Well, maybe we got to split the MVP. Did you watch the high jump in the Olympics? I think it was the most recent Olympics casual. So basically, they both kept jumping so high that they couldn't break. Like, they both kept failing at the same height. So they decided to split the gold medal. I didn't know you could do that, but they split the gold medal. I think we should do the same here. Juco kind of just put on a masterclass that game as well. Also, I'm getting the voices in my head and in the Discord keep yelling at me to remind you guys that an ARAM is coming up, okay? The ARAM, Blazem, I hope you're happy. The ARAM is coming up. It is this Saturday at 6 p.m., but it's not an ARAM. It's an Atom. All draft, all mid, all right? So we're going to see, it's a tournament draft going into an ARAM. I don't really understand how that works, but if you're interested, and even if you're not interested, I'm telling you, you have to go right now and go into the announcements. if you're interested in participating. But anyways, now that that's out there, Casual, any final comments today?
Yeah, no, so thank you for mentioning the Atom. We're all really excited for the Atom. Really cool that it is an Atom tournament instead of an ARAM tournament. I'm personally really chuffed about that. I think it's going to be a really authentic Atom experience. No, anyway, no, it is really exciting. I'm going to be playing it at Quicksand. You've probably got a team. If you don't, hurry up and make a team, because it's going to be a really, really fun night on Saturday. So thank you for mentioning that. All I have to say is congratulations to Revolt. Unlucky to BALHAE, you know, their journey does end here, but I think they've put up an incredible performance. Puppy has cemented himself as someone who's going to be really looked at in Irons of Plat, and if he does promote from that Plat 1, maybe heading into the Academy divisions, definitely needs some things to refine in terms of his play, but he often shows up and does cement really decent advantages in pretty much every 1v1 that he takes. So really decent player. Unfortunate that his team and himself weren't able to come up with the victory today, but Revolt very much deserved it. So really excited to see what playoffs look like. I mean, this is a bit excited for every game, Quicksand, but I feel like we've really leveled up now. Like, the games are actually really hype. Like, they really are going to be exciting and really fun to watch. So I just hope everyone in chat comes and joins us, really, for this excited adventure that does kick off not next week, I believe, but maybe the week after. I'm not too sure. Just keep out for announcements, basically. Hashtag LETG announcements, guys. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on that. Our beautiful admins, Blasm and the rest of the guys, will make sure they keep you updated. And other than that, it's just a good night, a GGWP from me, and that's pretty much it. Quicksand, lead us off. Give us a beautiful outro.
All right. I'd just like to remind everybody that there is actually an Atom on this Saturday at 6 p.m. So check that out. There will be no Challenger League as well, because we're too busy showing love to our mothers on that day.
Too.
So please make sure that you do a queue with your mum on, I think it's the Sunday.
Yeah, you better lose that LP. Yeah.
Hey, mum, I swear mum would probably be good at League. She never played, but like, either way. So I'll go do a queue with my mum. Now, cool. I gotta go finish my dinner. I gotta go sleep. I hope you all are going to sleep, or your bed is looking extra comfortable tonight. So please, on my behalf, have the greatest sleep you've ever had before. I hope that your doona or quilt or whatever you call it is extra comfortable. Your bed is extra bouncy, and you don't jump on the bed and bump your head, and your mum calls the doctor, and the doctor says no more jumping on the bed. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you all next week.
See you guys. Bye.